Do you think, Goblin, that we're any closer than a couple of years ago, maybe to federal legalization for weed? Because that seems like just the next big thing.
We're further
away from
We're
it.
further. Oh, a million. Oh, bro. Oh, you just opened my can of worms, dude. Hold on. So, all right. So
educate us.
Let me give a little bit of background lore on like myself and like, because I own a brand in the hemp industry. So I ship THCA to people's doors, and I've been doing it for like 2 years now. My partner in the brand is one of the biggest brands in the entire industry. And in the basically all of the past year, 2025, there's been like a million different attempts to try to ban this hemp industry that emerged from the 2018 Farm Bill. All of the, like, when you go to the smoke shop and they have weed in a jar and you're like, am I a fucking smoke shop or a dispo? That's all because of the Farm Bill that passed in 2018 that legalized all these hemp products, right? In 2025, there's been like countless attempts by a bunch of politicians who have basically been bought out by like big tobacco and alcohol companies to close that. Some people call it a loophole. It's not a loophole. I think it's more they didn't apply enough like discretion when they wrote the law legalizing hemp products, and effectively they legalized everything. You know, like there's products that you can go to the dispensary in any state in the country right now and buy that by the federal definition are hemp that you can just ship. But the only reason they don't is because they're manufactured by a brand that isn't licensed in that industry. And just like 2 weeks ago in the 2026 spending bill, which ended the longest government shutdown ever, Mitch McConnell at the very end of the very last version of the bill sneaks in this amendment that redefines hemp products in a way that bans literally everything. Full spectrum CBD is banned effective a year from that day. All the THCA products are banned a year from that day. All the sketchy gas station edibles like the Delta 8 shit and all the sketchy stuff you see is banned. Everything, pretty much every, cannabinoid or cannabis or hemp related product that you can find in a smoke shop outside of like a licensed state dispensary is gone as of November 12th, 2026. And the reason that they snuck it into the spending bill is because they tried it with the 2026 Farm Bill and it got shot down pretty fast. They've tried a bunch of other bills that they've been pushing for, and that got shot down. And the entire reason that like these tobacco and alcohol companies are pushing for this is they're getting ravaged by the hemp industry. You know, there's just not enough regulation for the hemp industry. And as someone who owns a brand in it, like there should be way more regulation. It's pretty sketchy what you're legally able to sell right now, but an outright ban is not the way to do it. And these alcohol companies hate that people are getting these CBD or THC seltzers now instead of going and buying a beer. They hate it, you know? So they had to put a stop to that. And I think overall, Trump has, like, from my understanding, I think he's kind of made it clear that like he doesn't really have much of a take on legal cannabis, and he'll kind of go wherever his, wherever the GOP's heading. And unfortunately, cannabis legalization in this country is almost entirely dictated by lobbying money. Like, it is literally a battle of like, yo, who's got the most bread to make a polite donation, And unfortunately, tobacco and alcohol companies have a lot more money than the multi-state operating cannabis companies that want it legal. So, until that changes, I think, we're pretty far from it right now. It would take like a different administration with a different approach to change it.
I think I'm just, that sucks.
It does blow, dude.
I think I'm just biased because I'm from Missouri and we legalized it here, and we're like one of the reddest states in the country. And so I just thought by that, like, oh, well, it'll extend, like Georgia's more purple than us. North Carolina's more purple than us. Maybe that'll work in the right direction. But I guess not. Mitch McConnell. And was it even Mitch McConnell who put that in the bill? There's no fucking way it was him. It was some staffer who threw that in, some person making a little.
He doesn't know what any of this shit means, dude. He has no idea. He hasn't read it.
3 minutes. He's like falling down twitching every 3 minutes, and we still pretend he's making decisions.
Dude, it was like 1,000 pages deep in the 2026 spending bill, snuck in this tiny little 2-line amendment that they had to vote on 12 hours later. Not a single person that voted yes on that spending bill read that amendment.
Sure, but they voted on the amendment too. And I don't give them the pass that you're giving them. Like, you fucking approve the amendment. Suck a dick, everyone who voted for it. Like he
I
didn't
agree,
sleep it
yeah.
in there without it being voted on. They voted to add that amendment to the spending bill. Now, passing the spending bill, I get some of them may have felt like their hands are tied. There's people literally starving because SNAP's not going out. Like, I get it.
Yep.
But voting on the amendment, no excuse. You voted to do this. This is where you stand.
We just need one better
100%.
guy around Trump, because I agree with Goblin that like Trump doesn't seem to give a fuck about weed either way. Like he's a famous teetotaler. He's not using it either way. He doesn't really care, but he is going to go along with whoever he respects most, who's closest to him. Like it could be as much as someone being like, you know what, maybe weed isn't that bad, and he'd be like, whatever, it's fine. And then
this is like it's kind of splitting hairs, but the Delta 8 stuff is so different from weed. Like there's a lot of people who would who would vote. Yeah, but legally speaking, it is. It's Wild West, 50 state legal marijuana in every like denomination and every way of isolating it, just in stores, in smoke shops. That's not what a lot of people want, and what a lot of people voted for. They want legalized marijuana that's taxed and regulated and weighed and measured, and that there's no issues with it. The way it is now, like. Look, I'm fucking almost 40. I go buy my shit at the dispensary or order it online or whatever, and that's that. But I would imagine if you're like a teenager, it's just really easy to get like Delta 8 vapes and gummies these days because they're just everywhere. Gas stations have them. It's crazy.
Yep.
I mean,
probably like
gas
beer.
stations have them.
It's probably like beer or alcohol. I could have said.
I bet it's even easier.
So easier.
It's way easier. Yep.
Explain to me why.
Because there aren't like little silo distributors that you can go get for beer. Like there are guys with weed connects. Like if you want beer and you're underage, you kind of have to either have a parent or older sibling, or you got to pull a hey mister, and that's how you have to do it, because it's all sold
also
in a lot of
like,
states, just in like regulated state-run shops.
That's how.
But if you want alcohol, but
there's still drug dealers. Like there's still regular drug dealers that just
that's
go.
What you mean? Drug dealers.
Yeah.
And
so there's way more options if you're trying.
In my head, I'm like, I don't know why the gas station people would be diligent about cigarettes and beer, yet let vape slide without getting carded. I thought that was your argument. I didn't.
Do they even have to card people for Delta 8? Like is that
no?
They don't have to card them at all.
No.
That's
So
what I'm
this
saying.
is one of the really. This is one of the really interesting parts, because of the way the 2018 Farm Bill is kind of worded, what legalized all this is like they never expected an intoxicating product to come out of that legislation. So they never put any requirement for ID checks or anything, because it was supposed to be like people making hemp t-shirts, and like their warehouse and shit. And like now there's just synthetic cannabinoid carts at gas stations. And like, even for like my brand, like we ask people, hey, are you 21 plus? That passes the legal responsibility onto them. Every brand that does that out of good faith. There's no actual, like, if for example, let's say myself, I open up a store called like buyweedonline.com, and my first ever customer is a literal like 14-year-old kid, dude. And he sends an email to us after placing his order. And he's like, I'm 14. Can you double wrap it so my mom doesn't smell it when it gets here? Of course, like logically, we're like, we should just cancel this guy's order. But like, there's a lot of vendors that will just be like, yeah, dude, 100%, we'll double wrap it and ship it. That's their bread and butter.
Damn. I didn't know it was that sketchy.
And also,
it is
like,
pretty
if you're
bad.
talking about like a high school level black market product, if you're 16 and you're wanting some beer to like get drunk tonight with your buddies, that's a lot of beer you need. That's a lot of square inches of product that you need. But if we want to get high on gummies, I need like a pocket full of gummies. Each of us needs one gummy, and I've got them in my pocket, and they look just like something that's perfectly legal. They look like gummy bears. They don't say Budweiser in a big 16-ounce can, and I got to have like 20 of them so me and my boys can go have a good time. It's just like 3 pieces of candy in my pocket, and now we're all blazed.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it is way easier to get fucked up on weed than alcohol.
I always hear stories of like the bathrooms in high school now are like people just installs passing the vape around. Just everybody's getting blazed before class, and I'm like,
that can't be good. That can't be a good evolution.
Imagine yourself in high school, and when I was in high school, I remember somebody brought weed one time, and everybody was like, all right, well, lock everything the fuck down and call the cops and bring the dogs. That's what they did, because it's like somebody just smoked a joint at fucking school. We're gonna get them. But if you've got a vape in the bathroom, it smells like Fruity Tooty. You know, like to most people,
there's a lot of vapes
indistinguishable from nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, either nicotine or some are just flavored. I think
Some are just flavored.
Super innocent vape.
These come in just flavor too. Like you can get these in Nick, or you can get them in just flavor. This is Mexican mango. It's delicious.
What is Goblin? What's your history with drugs and weed? Like, did you start very young? Did you pick it up in like late high school, college?
My first time getting high, I was 15. Well, all right. I guess my entire timeline. The first time I ever got intoxicated on anything, freshman year of high school, I got hammered after that homecoming that year, which was, I feel like, just kind of tradition at that point.
Normal.
You go to the school dance, we went to this girl's house after, and her parents weren't home, and their basement was just lined with the nicest bar I'd ever seen, and we cost them a lot of money that night. And pretty shortly after that, I started smoking weed, just kind of casually with my friends. I think I didn't really become like an actual like drug addicted degenerate until like towards the end of my sophomore year of high school. I was 16 at that point, and I started taking Xanax and drinking cold meds because it was way cheaper than smoking weed.
Shit, that's early. 16, you were Xanax.
Robo tripping at 16.
It escalated pretty quick. Yeah, I went from 15, just a little stoner kid, and now 16, I'm smoking whatever basically.
How were your
I can get my hands on. Oh, dude. So I
really good, right?
I don't know where this is going yet. Really?
So I got sent to an alternative school in my junior year because my GPA, I went to like a very nice school district. Like my parents really tried for me, dude. They wanted to give me a shot. And I blew it. I was in a nice school district, and I learned that the way my school district padded their graduation rates, they're like one of the top districts in Illinois. The way that they padded the graduation rates was all the little degens like me with low GPAs, they'd ship off to this alternative school that gave no homework. So they come to me during the end of my first semester of my junior year of high school, and my GPA at this point is 0.8. Like I'm worthless in the classroom.
Room for improvement.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm worthless in the classroom. And when I was a kid, I was like a really good student, dude. I remember being in elementary school. I was like in the advanced classes, making my parents proud. And then I ended with a 0.8. Yeah, 0.8.
So you just showed up and then just like you obstinately didn't do tasks where they're like, fill out this worksheet, and you're like, nah, fuck you.
By that point, I was either high or asleep in like every class. Like the only time they'd get me right is first period, because first period, I just didn't have the time to really get high enough yet. There was a girl named Megan who she used to steal all her parents' Xanax, and she'd bring the whole bottle every other week, and she'd sell it to me. And then her friend named Peyton had a grandma who had a script for that too. And I meet him in the library every couple weeks. I'd buy the whole bottle from him, and then by second period, I'm asleep. So I didn't do much homework, and that's what really killed me. Because like the moment I walked out of the door, you weren't getting a single thing out of me school wise. Like I'm not doing shit. And once I started sleeping through my classes, I couldn't even do the test. For a while, I was able to kind of like straddle and be like, well, I don't do any homework, but like I'll get a B or a C on the test. So I'll make it past the class. I'll get a C or maybe a D, but once I started popping pills and really the psychedelics are what drove me to like, fuck this school shit. I used to take a ton of acid, and I was really like invested in the idea of like, dude, I'm just going to get a studio apartment, work at McDonald's, and take acid every day. Like that was my life, my dream.
This is crazy because you look like a professional Pokemon player.
Like, dude, and I've got a whole shelf of Pokemon cards right there, dude. Pokemon cards.
I'm on point then.
Dude, somehow I had the same ambitions with no drugs as a kid. And my GPA wasn't too far either.
You mentioned the cough medicine.
What, you're like, yeah, my GPA was similar, but it was out of sheer laziness and obstinance.
He said, once I get out of school, you're not getting anything out of me. And I'm like, preach it, brother.
Yep.